Hello and welcome everybody to Flicker Effect, episode 377. We are recording this and broadcasting live on Sunday, August 22nd, 2021. Joining me as always is Bobby Jackson.
Hey, how's it going?
Jascha Wilson.
Hey, everybody.
And Michelle Hillard.
Hi, hello everyone.
Hey guys, welcome back, the four of us. Look at us, all of us here.
The gang's all here.
Gang's all here. So last episode, Bobby and I actually did a little midweek episode. Bobby, you kind of had so much to catch up on that you had been watching, a lot to catch up on that you had been watching like throughout the summer. So we kind of did a catch-up episode this week. But still plenty to discuss this week. Michelle, you've got some stuff actually that I talked about that you haven't had a chance to talk about yet. But Bobby, I was going to go to you first. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so I got a chance this weekend to catch up on, well, I wouldn't say catch up, but at least start a show that everybody has been talking about and just recently ended last weekend, which is The White Lotus.
Yeah.
And I would say I saw 2 episodes. I didn't have a chance to start episode 3. So far, I don't get it. I don't know what everyone's fussing about.
Dude,
just yet.
you gotta watch episode 3. That's where I was too. Even after the first 2 episodes, I was a little like, eh. And I was episode 3 that kind of like got me going. Okay, now I'm kind of into this
For sure.
But sorry, I didn't mean to cut
And
you
it's
But I'm just.
no, it's okay. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this in regards to that. Like you don't get it, and you're not watching it. And I haven't done this in a while. But if you want to check out of that show, by all means, go for it. We still have some friends that haven't watched Breaking Bad, so there's really no reason for you to go ahead and finish the show that they're trying to get you to watch.
Wow.
Gonna say
to
that.
Be fair.
Just gonna. I haven't said it in a while. I'm just gonna put it out there. I've kind of let it be, let it lie, if you would say. But yeah, if you feel like you need to check out Bobby, I encourage you to check out.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like David and Michelle like were twisting my arm to watch it. It's just been in the zeitgeist lately, and so it's one of those shows I feel like I need to check out specifically because I do have HBO Max. I would really like to check out Ted Lasso at some point, but I don't have Apple Plus. Eventually, I'll get it so I can watch some of the shows that are on there. But that seems like for me will be more of a binge thing. And I don't have time to binge stuff as much. So I just think that this White Lotus makes perfect way of being able to use for my time because it's only 6 episodes. And so I feel like I can get through it pretty quickly. But that being said, yeah, the first 2 episodes, it's weird because there's 6 episodes, like I mentioned. And in your first 2 episodes, it feels like you've got nothing. There's no real forward momentum. There's nothing that's like, well, what is this show about? Is it just about these rich people and how they're treating the staff of this place that they're staying at? Or is there some sort of central mystery or thing other than what they kind of show in the beginning in the first episode? I don't know. It doesn't call back to that yet in the first 2 episodes. So other than when you see it in the beginning. So I'm just left wondering, what am I supposed to be getting from this? Who am I supposed to be engaging with and following, aside from just following the overall story of these people and how they're interacting with these group of workers? So it's interesting, but I haven't got to the point where, as David said, maybe episode 3 does it to where it's locked me into why this show is being talked about right now.
Again, all I'll say is I totally get that attitude, though.
Yeah.
Like, I remember even after the 2nd episode still feeling like basically the same as like you just said. There's really no momentum. It's like, what's going on here? But there was enough for me to be like, I'm still like intrigued to watch the next one, at least enough to watch the next one. But it was that 3rd episode I remember that I'm not saying there's not some big event that happens in the 3rd episode, so don't get your hopes up or something. But
Okay.
Things definitely move in a way that you can tell, like, okay, drama is starting to build. And
tensions are starting to rise.
Right.
Things are starting to clash just a little bit. A little.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's where I was with the show. And with that said, like, Michelle, you haven't had a chance to talk about it. You've seen the finale.
Yeah, I was the same way. The first 2 episodes were a little slow, but I was intrigued. Episode 3 definitely kind of ramps up, especially at the end. And episode 5 are just awesome, in my opinion. Especially like at the end of episode 4, I think things kind of start blowing up a little bit. But then, the episode 6, the finale, was good. I think for me, it was a little predictable based on the way the show was kind of going. But I still liked it. I still liked the way it kind of ended. I think for me as a whole, this is not as dramatic as I think people were hoping it was going to be. I feel like the hopes were really high. This was going to be a major drama, whodunit, like really intense and deep, and I felt it was a little softer, more like an Agatha Christie, kind of like a drama mystery thing. So it was a little more subdued than what I think culture was kind of hoping it was going to be in the end. That's my opinion, but I liked the ending. No, I actually liked the show, and I mean, like, I had kind of talked to David after the end of the episode for the finale, and like, for me, I spent 10 years in hospitality and in high-end hospitality hotels, and it's interesting to watch a show like this because I'm like, yeah, some of that stuff happens. Crazy things happen, like the way people are, some of the personality types. I was like, yeah, I've met that person. I've met a few of those people. I've met a few of that person and a few of that personality type. I've gone through that, and so it's interesting and intriguing to see it kind of in this way. I was like, this is pretty on the nose for some of the people, for sure. So it was interesting for me to watch it that way. I'll put it that way.
So that's White Lotus on
White
HBO.
Lotus.
It got picked up for a second season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the second season because, like,
yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's going to be like another resort, I think was basically officially said.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. But then it wasn't necessarily going to be like a completely new cast. Like, I thought I had also read there's the possibility that we'll see some of the cast we saw in the first season.
Okay.
But
as the same characters or doing different characters?
I thought like the same characters is the way I read it. I don't have that quote in front of me, so I could be wrong. But I say the cast. I think I read that we would see some of the same characters.
It's interesting.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it'd be cool to kind of see them come back as the same characters they did, but even if they did it kind of like American Horror Story style, where there's like the same actors, just a completely different character.
Yeah, maybe that's the case.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm open to either, I guess.
And I guess, if you're gonna keep it that same title, and I don't know.
Yeah, guess we'll find out.
Guess we'll find out eventually.
Yep.
Anything else, Bobby, that you've been watching?
Oh, something that I've been listening to that I just finished today is the audiobook for Dune. And with the movie coming up, I had been really interested in listening to this audiobook. And I got to say,
how long is it?
It's pretty long. Because I remember it's broken up into 3 parts. Yeah, I think it's broken up into 3 parts.
So it's taking
from what I can remember.
It's taking you a while.
I want to say
get
each. Yeah, I want to say each part was maybe. Don't quote me on this, but somewhere between 5 to 8 hours. It was pretty long. It's pretty long.
Lengthy.
But
that's long. But I think actually I was thinking you were going to say longer than that, because I just listened to Ready Player 2, and Ready Player 2 came in at like 14, I think, hours.
in total.
In total for one
No,
book.
no, I listened to that too, so I can check real quick on audio.
I'm sorry, Bobby.
You
I
listen
totally
to
interrupted you.
Radio Player 2? No, that's okay. You listen to
me?
Yeah, Jascha?
Did I listened to audiobooks quite a bit actually?
Oh,
So
somebody
I
I could
did
talk
listen
to
to
about
it.
Ready Player 2 because I'm dying to talk to
I
somebody.
know. Okay. So let me go through Dune
Oh
real
wait,
quick.
no, Ready Player 2. I'm sorry, no,
Okay.
I've only done Ready Player
Oh.
1. So that's
Okay.
I didn't know that there was a sequel out. Now that I know, I will definitely have to. I'm going to download it right now. So there's that.
All right. I can't wait to hear Yasha's review. Well, back to Dune, I guess.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good, guys. I honestly I was impressed a lot by it because, at least from listening to it and hearing the copyright, it was 1965, so this predates Star Wars, and you can kind of see where maybe George Lucas got some ideas of stuff to do in Star Wars, but how it's also informed a lot of other things, not just Star Wars, but a ton of other things that have taken from it in some form or fashion. And one of the bigger things I really feel like it influenced to a certain degree could have been something like Game of Thrones, because in this book, in this series, there are all these different houses, and they're all kind of vying for power. And within that, the main place on the chessboard at this point is the planet of now I forget all of a sudden what they call it. I want to say Arrakis, but Dune basically. And so you see how everyone is positioning and vying for power, and there's these, a lot of times, same with Game of Thrones, where there's these moves within moves and layers upon layers of deception and stuff. And so it seems like this was a very good kind of origin for some of those types of ideas and politics and stuff that you see in sci-fi, different series and movies that maybe were inspired through Dune. And the level of detail that comes from it, I had to remind myself at different times when I'm listening to it, is like, man, someone sat down and this came out of their head, that this was just an original idea that they thought of. And it's always impressive when someone can world build on that level, in terms of being able to build out something that's so grand and epic in scope, that it just is like, wow, someone, through blood, sweat, and tears made this thing and made it in such an impressive way that it's endured. And obviously it's endured. I mean, for something that was in 1965, and here we are in 2021, having one of the preeminent movie makers make a film about it in this year, shows a testament to the story. And based on the visuals alone, it looks like it's going to really do it justice in a way that maybe hasn't been before. And so it has me on another level now, looking forward to the movie that I wasn't previously before that, because I didn't have very much knowledge of Dune, other than very periphery, just slight stuff here and there. So, because I've never watched the original movie, and I've never seen the I think it was the USA series that came out a few years ago. I didn't see either of those, so I didn't have that kind of connection to the source material. So after listening to the book, I'm definitely ready to see the movie.
Nice. I've never read the book either. I mean, you haven't, Michelle, have you?
I've not read the book. I've only seen the original movie from 80 something.
Yeah, and I haven't seen that in a long time. Jascha, have you read the book, or?
No, but we do have the book on my parents' bookshelf at their house. So there's that.
There you go.
It's collecting dust.
It's nearby.
Yeah.
I've actually never even seen the original movie either. I think I've seen bits and pieces of it when I was a kid, and I think I was too young to really understand or comprehend what was going on, because I pretty much blew it off pretty quickly. I was like, this is boring and slow, and I was a kid into Transformers and Superman, and if there wasn't action or anything going on, I really do think I tried to watch it when I was like 5 or 6 or something like that, and I was like, this is this is not for me.
Yeah.
And Star Wars, yeah.
Even then, I saw it, and that was a long time ago. Last time I saw that movie, yeah.
If I watched it, it'd be like watching it for the first time. Basically, that's how long.
Practically, yeah.
Like things would probably come back to me as I was watching it. You know, like, okay, I remember this from that, but it's been quite a while.
It's a lot different when you watch movies like with that big like timeline in between, because now it's like I see it with adult eyes, and it'll be interesting.
Yeah, so the original came out in 1984, so I was like 7.
Yeah.
You know, when I tried to watch it, you know, something like that. I was just like, it was just probably well above my head. I didn't know it was directed by David Lynch.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I watched it at some point in the 90s. That's all I remember. Yeah.
Anywho, anything else, Bobby?
Yeah, and one thing that I read, which sadly wasn't an actual book, but it was a comic book. I got a chance to dust off my old Marvel Unlimited and read Eternals #1 that came out in January of 2021. And it was interesting because I remember reading and first getting getting first exposure to the Eternals back when Neil Gaiman kind of reintroduced them back maybe in the 90s, I want to say, at some point. And I remember liking that series, that run that was done, and nothing else after that. It's kind of like they went away again after that run that Neil Gaiman did. And so coming back to it now, there's a lot that I forgot about the Eternals just because they haven't been existing in the MCU or in the Marvel comics for quite a while, at least not when the time that I was reading still. And so kind of this book does a really good job of introducing you to who the Eternals are, what are deviants, how the role of the Celestials play into things. And I think it really gives you a good foundational understanding of things, but still enough there to make you want to understand more, because they give you just the basics of the information you need to know within this first issue. And the inciting incident of this issue is that Icarus is brought back from after having died, and the Eternals are back, and he was the last to kind of come back, and their Eternal Prime sends him to do something, and then by the I'm trying not to give too much away here, by certain point at the end of the issue, something happens to propel forward a mystery that Icarus is involved with, along with Sprite, in terms of trying to figure out how this thing happened. And they're confronted by someone at the end of the issue that will bring towards maybe the second issue and be involved in a larger part of what happened. But I like it, and I definitely will keep up with it. Because it's Marvel Unlimited, I think it only goes up to maybe the last 6 months or so of a run. I think they might have shortened it to 4 months, but I believe I can at least check out the first 4 issues. So I plan on doing that within the next week.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, speaking of Eternals, did you guys watch the new trailer that dropped? Thoughts? Opinions?
We did. Me and David actually talked about it the other day. So now that you have the floor, Michelle, what'd you think of it?
I'll be honest.
Lay it on us.
I'm loving what I'm seeing. I'm so excited for this film. It looks really good. Maybe the jokes aren't as amazing, but the visuals and the storyline, you could tell like it looks solid. I'm really looking forward to seeing this one. Yeah.
Jascha, what were your thoughts on it?
I mean, what else could I possibly say that Michelle hasn't said? I mean, yeah, I'm totally excited to see this movie and seeing the action and whatnot. The tone change from the first trailer of just this, kind of solemn, mystery as to like what's going on, who are these people type of thing, to hey, yeah, you're going to get some action. Like, this is a Marvel movie. Don't get it twisted. You're definitely some weird stuff, and it's going to allude and transverse into more. It got me really excited to see them kind of answer but ask the questions literally in the trailer and leave us more wanting more. Like, where were you when Thanos happened, and talking about Thanos and everything to that nature, like answers that we're supposed to hopefully get. And I'm looking forward to it. I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah. No, it's got me pumped.
Yeah, I think it was important to go ahead and like at least briefly cover that question even in the trailer, because I mean,
just say something.
Say something. That's obviously going to be the first thing everyone is like thinking. Like, wait, these people seem pretty amazingly powerful. Like, where have you been?
Why the hell weren't they around?
What have you been doing?
Right. But then it's like, watching that trailer and then watching the new What If episodes on Disney Plus. It's good stuff. Did you guys talk about What If last episode? Probably not.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit.
So I'm just behind.
Yeah.
But no, please.
Oh no, I will say, like, in the 2 episodes of What If that I've seen, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think the animation is gorgeous, and I like this different idea of what a timeline could be and what they would be doing in that timeline and how it would unfold for them. And I think it's awesome. I'm really enjoying it so far. So it's cool.
Jascha, did you want to touch on What If at all, or have you been watching?
Oh no, I mean, yeah. Oh well, I mean, I've of course watching the What If series. I thought this episode that they just did was much better than the first one. As I talked about, I think when we first talked about What If, I was a little kind of disappointed, but not disappointed. I guess you could say I was mid-range with the first What If. Now the animation and everything like that is absolutely stunning and it's gorgeous, but it's really the same story. With Peggy Carter taking the mantle and everything like that. But I enjoy it, but I just thought it was a little bland. This next one, it really, really went into like the What If series and scenarios, like completely changing the entire course of the MCU. With What If T'Challa was Star-Lord, and I loved it because that's what I remember from the What If series is that you read these comics and they really push the boundaries of like, what if, the Incredible Hulk killed Wolverine? Like, like literally just going full balls in to change the entire events of everything. And I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Nice. Bobby, you watched the movie this week, right?
Oh.
You wanted to discuss?
I did.
What have you got?
I try and get out to the theater to make use of that, my A-list. So I was able to go and check out The Protégé, starring Maggie Q, Samuel L. Jackson, and Michael Keaton, and it's directed by Martin Campbell. And there's been a lot of female assassin movies within the last few years. There's been a few that's come out on Netflix. There's the one that recently came. I don't know if it actually recently came out, but the one that is with her name escapes me all of a sudden. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I don't know if that one's can't come out yet.
Oh, Kate.
But I think it's called.
Yeah, that one hasn't come out yet.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, we've got a few of them out there. And it's hard to differentiate now that there's been a decent amount of them. And they all go through a range. There's like ones that are stone cold, just completely devoid of emotion, that are killers and assassins in that way. And then there's ones that is a little bit more of a flavorful take on it, a little bit more humor to it in a way. And I would say this leans more towards that. It's somewhere in the middle where Maggie Q's character has been trained to be this assassin by Samuel Jackson, and in the trailer they show where Samuel Jackson's character is killed and she's out to find out what happened to him and who did it and get her revenge. And in terms of just plotting and story, I would say it's not necessarily something that's breaking the mold and doing something different. But at the same time, I think because of the people in it, I had fun watching it. Samuel Jackson is always going to Samuel Jackson, so that's always good. And it's in this movie, I think the real standouts are Maggie Q and Michael Keaton. They have this really Mr. and Mrs. Smith thing going on throughout the movie that has this chemistry and fire to their dynamic and how they play off of each other. And one thing above all, when I was watching this movie, because Michael Keaton plays an assassin as well, is that he's Batman ready. I mean, seeing him in some of the fight scenes that he was doing, there's definitely times where it's a stunt double in there, but there's other times when you can clearly see he's doing part of the action. And I was like, yeah, he's good to go. when the Flash movie comes out and he's back in the bat suit, I think he's going to be awesome to watch, because he was great in this, and it was one of the things I really liked is it was snarky Keaton too. It wasn't like he was just dead serious, which he's been most of the time in a lot of movies recently. He's been playing a serious character, but in this, he's very got a sense of humor and a little bit of sarcasm and snarkiness to him, and I like that. And it's good kind of seeing that old 80s kind of style Keaton. And other than that, I think that there's a few things that happened in the movie that caught me off guard, and the action was well done as well. But in terms of, like I said, just story and some of the ideas that are presented there, it's nothing new. But I think that just the cast kind of elevates the material, and it ends up being a lot of fun. When I thought that maybe it was just going to be more of a serious thing, it definitely has its serious moments, but I think it teeters and adds that kind of humor in a way that works for the film, and I end up enjoying it.
Nice. And that's on.
That's on the movie theaters that you choose to go to. I don't think it's on any streaming service.
It's not. I looked.
Yeah, it's not a premium rental or anything anywhere.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Well, real quick, technical note: anybody actually watching this has not been able to hear me or Michelle up until this point, so I apologize. I say that, and when this is done, you can hear us on the audio podcast, but I'll probably be deleting these videos anyway, so since half of it is worthless. But hey, we'll keep going as we're going. That's how it goes.
So then we could do whatever on video.
It's okay, David.
Yeah, we can.
Actually, they would if they were watching us live.
If you're watching us live,
enjoy. Enjoy. Yeah. Did you get a tip?
Oh, look,
our transitions are going to be really odd.
Did you get a tip on that? Do we have really a listener? Weird. Do we have somebody actually viewing us right now?
No, I don't think we do.
Oh, Michelle, don't do that. We're on camera right now. We can do it. We can say anything. People won't know.
This is a good tease that will get people to watch the next time. Man, they do crazy stuff on camera.
Right?
I was holding back drinking my water bottle to wait till the screen is out. I'm like, it down.
What were you going to say, Bobby?
Before we transition outside of me talking about the Protégé, it got me to thinking as I was watching it. Since I mentioned that there had been a lot of female assassin movies, do you guys have a favorite female assassin movie at this point?
It's funny because you kind of posed this question, and I was kind of thinking what kind of, and honestly, the very first one that came to my mind was The Long Kiss Goodnight. I loved that movie when it first came out.
That's a good one.
It's so good. Same. And that was young Samuel Jackson. Well, younger Samuel Jackson. Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly. But no, I love that movie.
That was a good one.
Oh, so good, right? Sheena Davis pulled it out in that. You cannot deny that woman kicked ass in that film.
I don't think David's seen that one.
But it's written. I think it's really relevant.
Yeah.
No, I've never seen that.
Yeah, I thought so.
It's written by Shane Black, who's the same person that wrote Lethal Weapon series and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me that you like that movie, Michelle.
It's
because I mean you love the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah, I do like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. It's really I haven't watched that in forever either. But no, it's oh my god. Why are
David
we
hasn't
together?
seen that one either.
Oh no, I have. I didn't like it.
Okay.
I haven't watched it in a long time. But the director of Long Kiss Goodnight did, I think, a couple other like action films too. Like
Rennie Harlan.
Yeah, I think he's not unknown. But no, that one's probably the first one that came to mind. And then like, I think I went to like Kill Bill almost immediately. The Bride is pretty classic, and then Atomic Blonde would be the other one I was kind of thinking about.
Yeah,
Atomic Blonde is pretty dope. That's the one I was thinking of. And then there was one more. Give me 1 second. I'll tell you what it is. I don't know if you guys have actually seen this one, but it's actually quite good.
It's a bit of a stretch, but in some ways, the movie Leon or The Professional, in a weird way,
The Professional,
because she kind of turns into that in a way at the end of the film. So I guess you could say that Natalie Portman's character kind of is, but she doesn't do a lot of badass things.
Right.
But it's one of those things that it could be argued, I guess. Good film.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the first thing that comes to mind for me, it's not going to shock anybody, is Kill Bill. So I mean, if I had to pick one, it'd probably be that.
Yeah,
but,
she's pretty fucking.
I mean, sadly, I haven't seen The Long Kiss Goodnight. There's probably a lot of movies that I haven't seen that really fall into that category, sadly. And that's not because they don't interest me. I think it just has worked out that way. Like, I didn't see Atomic Blonde, and I really wanted to.
That was a good one. Like Hannah.
Did you guys ever saw Atomic Blonde? Was fantastic.
Yeah.
Hannah's very good. I like Hannah a lot.
I was just saying Hannah is one.
Hannah's good.
Yeah.
Did you figure out that one, Jascha?
This is a little. I did. This is a little unknown, but it's Colombiana. With Zoe Saldana.
Zoe Saldana.
I was telling David that we should watch that one because I haven't seen that one.
Fantastic.
I heard it's good. I have not seen that one either. Yeah.
So good. So good. Like, so underrated. Like, it's like it much production, but when you finally get through it, you're just kind of like, holy shit, this was actually really good.
Yeah. Do you have other ones, Bobby?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I was going to say, I guess for myself, oddly enough, the same person stars in two of the ones that I'm thinking of, which is Angelina Jolie, and that's Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Salt. And so it's odd that, she's in two of them. But then, like David and you, Michelle, said also, is you've got Kill Bill, The Bride. And so I would say those are my main ones. Other than that, I think you guys all mentioned some other really great ones as well. But yeah, I would say for me, it's probably, I like Angelina Jolie and when she's in that mode. Yeah. And honestly, my initial thought in question was going to be a little bit more morbid. So I changed it to favorite movie, but, which I guess is for the best because it was a little bit morbid. I don't know.
Well, now you have to.
Maybe we should talk about this afterwards. We'll do a little after show.
Can you not say it on air? Like,
no, it's fine to say on air. It was going to initially be, which female assassin would you want to be murked by?
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
It's pretty morbid. It's pretty morbid.
And it's morbid because most of those women that we just listed are brutal. Like, nobody dies.
All their killings are just savage.
Yeah, nobody really dies very
That's
simplistically.
Why I was gonna.
Simplicity.
I would probably, because I just saw the movie, I would want to die by Maggie Q's hands, I think. Because she's pretty efficient and
just a quick bullet to the brain.
Killings, yeah, and some of the killings in some of the other movies are more savage and like a little more sadistic in a way, and she's just very efficient. So a quick, clean death is what I would want if I was getting killed by one of these female assassins, or I'd want to be involved with one of these female assassins that at least kind of hook they hook up with you first before they kill you. So at least you kind of like I think what was the one Jennifer
Jennifer Lopez?
No, Jennifer.
Jennifer Lawrence. You're talking about that red
Sparrow. That's it.
There you go.
Red Sparrow.
Yeah. See,
we could do that. We can figure this out together.
We'll get there eventually. Did anybody watch that one?
Actually, no. Sadly,
I did. I watched it. That's why I know that I would probably be
okay with
satisfied before I got killed.
You like the praying mantis kind of method to it all.
There we go. I mean, if you gotta go, you gotta go.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's sad. You guys are mentioning so much stuff that I'm like, haven't seen it.
Did you see Salt?
Nope, never saw Salt.
Salt was actually pretty solid.
Salt is... Yeah, Salt. If there's ever a movie that deserves a sequel, I really wish Salt would get one. Like, because I think
that would be
impressive. They talked about it too.
I'm looking forward to an
Fantastic,
Atomic Blonde sequel. Honestly, like when do we get that?
Yeah,
me too.
Me too. Awesome. David just doesn't see like chick fit movies. Apparently,
it makes me look terrible.
I know. So I was gonna say, David has something about female assassins. That
I know. I'm gonna get pinned with that now, but I'll start making
one other one I'm looking forward to. Is the TV version for Mr. and Mrs. Smith that they announced within the last few months. That Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Donald Glover as Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I want to see that. I like those two pairings.
But I have to say, like, I enjoyed the film. I don't know if I want to see a show. I like them though, so I'm not against it. I don't know.
I'm all for it, I guess, just because. I mean, I think the movie's okay, but it didn't really do that much for me, so. I'm all for a different take on it.
Oh.
Cool. Well.
So I guess you and I have some femme fatale movies to watch.
Apparently. I should start a list of everything I got to watch.
Just rewind this
Long Kiss
episode.
Goodnight's going to have to happen because that was a solid one. Like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll start.
Yeah,
I'm going to start with that one since that was what kind of got this going.
It literally was the first one that came to my mind. Like, then that was just, I don't know. I think it's just that's probably my go-to, like, female assassin film in my head.
So speaking
I
of
remember buying that movie on DVD because I loved it so much. And I haven't seen it in years. So, I definitely saw it in theaters.
Yeah,
That's why I bought it on DVD. But now I got to go back and rewatch it. If you guys are rewatching or watching it for the first time, David and Michelle, you're rewatching it, I might need to do that because it's been a long time.
It's been a long time since I've watched it too. I remember seeing it in the theaters and it was wintertime and like the whole movie's set in the wintertime. So like it just played really well. It was like, man, this is awesome. Anyways.
I was going to say, speaking of Maggie Q, like, has she been, I feel like she hasn't been doing anything in a while.
You and I were talking about that.
And then this pops up. Like it
has been a while. I
haven't looked up her IMDb, so maybe I'm wrong, and she's just been doing smaller stuff, or
she's been advocating for gut health. Is what she's been doing.
She was on the show La Femme Nikita. She was that character, and I remember, or it was just called Nikita. I think it was on Paramount or CW or something.
I think USA or TNT or something like that. TBS.
Oh, could be. Yeah, one of those cable type stations.
USA sounds right though. Anyways,
it does kind of sound familiar, but yeah, I don't think she's been doing anything in a minute.
She's been advocating for gut health, guys. It's been like her whole thing
in the industry.
Have you not seen these ads? They're everywhere.
No.
I think I have, but I meant like acting wise.
I know.
You would think she'd pop up in a. In fact, you would think she would pop up in. Not to say that everyone has to, but she seems like she'd be perfect for a big IP franchise movie, like something in Star Wars or Marvel, DC kind of thing. Yeah. And yet, I don't think she's been in anything that I'm aware of, anyway.
Anywho.
Jascha, you watched, there's a new movie on HBO Max. I forget the name of it, though.
It's Reminiscence. It's ironic that you forgot it, but and it's Reminiscence.
See what I did there?
I want to see that
Hey.
Well done, David. Well done.
Yeah, totally planned.
I did. It is. It is in the theater also, but it is also on HBO Max. While I do love going to the movie theater, I love staying at home sometimes even more. When it's just that convenient for me to just go ahead and watch it at home, sometimes I just can't help it, and I just go ahead and put it on. So Reminiscence is a movie written and directed by Lisa Joy. Fun fact, I just found out she is the sister-in-law of Christopher Nolan, so I didn't know that. And
Wow.
you can kind of see the influence big time in this movie with her relationship to Christopher Nolan, who probably gave her ideas here and there. Movie stars some real strong heavy hitters and real strong talent. We have Hugh Jackman, Tandy Newton, Rebecca Ferguson, Cliff Curtis, Daniel Wu, and I mean that's just to name the initial big hitters and whatnot when it comes to this movie. So this movie is super interesting. It has a take and starts kind of like a 1920s detective story where somebody has a voice dub over, narrating the entire film. So kind of like those old movies where it's like, of all the gin joints in all the world, she had to walk into mine. And then it goes into more of the story. And it just kind of does that, and it has this repeated version of that. It's basically Hugh Jackman playing detective when he finds a client of his, and what he does is basically, I'll just read you the IMDb description of it. Is Nick Bannister, a private investigator of the mind, navigates the alluring world of the past when his life is changed by a new client, May. A simple case becomes an obsession after she disappears, and he fights to learn the truth about her. So honestly, this movie starts off a little slow. Watching it, I felt that it was decent, but it was a little slow. And I thought Rebecca Ferguson's dub over of some of the songs that she was singing, because she did Smoothie, was pretty weak, and it was funny. I just sat there and laughed, and it turns out that's actually her voice. So it just made me even feel like an asshole because I thought it wasn't her voice. But I don't want to give it away because there's a lot that comes into this movie and comes into play. Sorry about the noise, but it is it's interesting. It gets progressively better as you watch the film, and I hate to say this, but I feel like it could have ended about 10 to 20 minutes before it actually did. It kind of have the Lord of the Rings ending where it's just like, oh, it's done. Oh wait, no, it's not done. Oh, it's done. Oh no, it's not done. So it kind of had that feeling to it. But aside from that, I actually enjoyed the movie quite a bit. It was a fun mystery and detective story to kind of like get through. Sorry, that's kind of I hope that wasn't too convoluted or all over the place, but I think you guys would enjoy it. I think it would be a fun watch. Like I said, it starts a little slow, but it does pick up, and you get it gets better.
No, I was kind of curious about it. I mean, I'm intrigued to see this movie. I wouldn't say it's like on the top of my list. There's a bunch of other movies right now that I've got like definitely ahead of it, but I'm intrigued by this one.
I feel like it's interesting. I jumped on the Rotten Tomatoes because I was kind of curious what the reaction has been, because I've read no reviews. Your review, Jascha, is the first I've heard about it. And like my first take is there isn't an audience score. Like, and it only shows that there's, I guess, 250 plus audience ratings. Like, has no one really seen this? And I mean, I don't know what the HBO Max streams are like. I mean, we don't know. I mean, of course, you look at the box office, and it came in at 9 in its opening weekend, which, I mean, it's a pretty wide set of theaters. It looks like it's in, but it only made 2 million in theaters, which isn't that surprising, I guess. But yeah,
but you watch when it zooms in, like the first thing I thought of is like, this looks almost exactly like Blade Runner. Like that's literally what it was. Like, I mean, you're just watching the city, the landscape. It's a futuristic take. They kind of refer back to events that happened off screen, so we never really get a chance to view those. And like I said, it was good. It was decent. I enjoyed it as we got further into the movie, but it was very much slow to start. Like, you do have to stick with it. Like, and it doesn't jump in, and it's almost like when these things start to happen, you almost are kind of like, wait, why do I care about this for a very long part of the film? But when you get through it and it starts to get better, instead of seeing that it's just dialogue, it really turns into the acting because the talent starts to really show up for some of these actors. And it finishes strong in my feeling when it comes to the storyline. It's I know that we've seen it before, or you have seen it before because I have. But I just like the adventure on getting there. But it was, like I said, it was a little slow to start. So I'm not too surprised at the Rotten Tomatoes rating, where I'm looking at it right now with you, David, is on the tomato meter, they gave it like a 38%.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they just, it's not good. Like, and I can see why it would get that, but it was a little refreshing to kind of see, a movie that didn't have to have a bunch of explosions and stuff like that. It was very dialogue driven, so it was interesting, to say the least.
Cool. Michelle, did you watch anything you wanted to?
I'm trying to think if I saw any movies, and you might have to refresh my memory, David. But
Well, yeah, you saw The Green Knight.
Oh, I did see The Green Knight.
Now that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Which I discussed on the last episode, but and you and I really haven't talked about it, so I'm not really sure what your take on that was.
Oh yeah, I don't know what your take is on it. Well, anyways, The Green Knight. So I remember I was really, really kind of excited to see this movie, and I wanted to see it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
But we held off, and we watched it at home on the preview night, which was Wednesday night. And now you can rent it at home, like 100% now. So, yeah, The Green Knight. Here's the thing about it. So, like, I literally, when it comes to like Arthurian, meaning the King Arthur and the Knights Round Table, Arthurian tales. I do have a little bit of background in it. I read quite a lot of it when I was in college. I took 2 classes on it, actually, on Arthurian tales. And The Green Knight tale is actually not, in my opinion, is not the most entertaining story. So the fact that they even made a film about it is really curious to me, because it's such a tale about a person's basically kind of like growing up in a way, kind of like, okay, you need to become a man. You need to step up. You're not just a kid messing around here. Like, pull it together, dude. And you kind of get that as you're going through this film. I think visually it's quite good. The pacing is a little slow, even for like a King Arthur story or for a knight story. It's kind of slow. It could go a smidge quicker. But I think the telling of it was done really well. Like, there were sequences that were done, executed that were really well. And I'm really, what's his first name? Dev Patel? What's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dev Patel,
Yep.
I thought was really good in it. I liked it. I'm happy with it. I think, like I said, my main thing was it could have moved a smidge faster, but in the end, I liked it a lot. And the thing that's hard about like Arthurian King Arthur stories and the Knights stories is like a lot of them are unfinished. And so sometimes you can take the story and you can add your own ending to it. Sometimes you could just take it for surface value for where it stops. Some authors have gone in and they've created their own versions of it, and you can read their versions and such. So it's interesting to kind of see. It's very like how Beowulf, takes on its own thing, because Beowulf is an uncompleted work of writing, and so people either just call it what it is, or people have gone and written endings to Beowulf. And kind of the same thing with some of the stories from King Arthur. So with this, I think it ended appropriately. I think if I haven't read that story in a long time, I think it actually ended the way the book ends. I don't think they added anything additional to it. Well, maybe there's a sequence they added to it. But
Yeah, my understanding, without talking spoilers.
I'm trying not to talk spoilers.
Yeah, that there is a small change
at the end.
Yeah.
So you get that sequence, but otherwise, I think it ends basically the way the story ends. No, I enjoyed it. Kind of glad we just watched it at home, because this sounds rough, but right now with the way COVID is going, in my own personal opinion, and here in Florida, we are a whole nother ball game. For me to go to the movie theater, it's got to be like just up there.
Shang-Chi.
Like, man, yeah, like it's gonna have to be a Marvel film at this point. Like, Dune, you know, like these are the ones that I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna wind up getting sick from this, I'm gonna see that movie in the theater. Kind of, that sounds horrible, but like that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I need the movie to really be worth it if I could possibly wind up having COVID.
But when you say that, like, if all things were equal and there was no pandemic, like, would you have preferred to see this in a movie theater? Or
For sure,
you're like,
for
oh,
sure.
no, I'm fine seeing this at home?
I think I might have even enjoyed it a little bit more had I seen it in the theater. And I don't think that's anything to do with seeing it at home. I think, especially, you know, in the way that we see films, we have a spectacular television and we have really great sound system. Like, it's pretty much a home theater here. Like, so it's nothing in the experience that we have, like, that didn't diminish in a way that might take away from the film. But I could see, having seen it, obviously a movie theater screen is much larger than a television is going to be. So I feel like I might have enjoyed it a little bit more, but I don't think I would have come out of it going, this is amazing, you guys, it's awesome. Like, I don't think I'd come out of that. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Like, it was good. You know, I think it would have really highlighted the visuals, I will say, for sure.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
I mean, I'll say quickly, since we haven't discussed it between
We've not
ourselves.
discussed it.
I mean, I liked it quite a bit, actually.
Really?
No, I really liked The Green Knight. So
Really? Oh.
that surprises you.
It does. I thought you were kind of more on the like, I liked it, but it's fine. I could take it or leave it. I thought you were kind of like where I was.
I mean, I said this last week. I'll say, I mean, one thing too, like, one fear I had from seeing the trailers, as good as the trailers looked, was that this was going to be one of these movies that was just really told in a very unconventional way, like really artsy and very.
Yeah, I get that.
And actually,
I agree. That was my concern.
Watching it, it actually had a more conventional kind of narrative than I expected. And
I'll agree with that.
Not to say there are movies that are completely unconventional and I love them. Like, not to say I need movies to be simple, but I did like that about it. It had a nice mix of conventional and unconventional.
Right. So. Like, their costuming was a little more edgy than, say, the costuming actually was for that time. You know, things like that.
The
for
score
sure.
was
the
definitely
score
at
was
times very like choral and old world, but at the same time very modern.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So it's like they could do little tweaks to make it like a modern take on things, and I don't mind that kind of stuff. But yeah, the story they kept pretty true. Again, my recollection from my early 20s, which is really hazy, it was pretty true to the story that I can remember reading when I studied it. So, yeah.
I didn't realize that was, I guess, translated by Tolkien. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
And again, that goes back to the whole, like, a lot of the King Arthur things are written in Old English and they're written in Old Worlds and they can be written by multiple people. And then what would happen is it can be translated by other authors, which is definitely what happened. And they can either keep it the way it was or they would take their own take on it. So Tolkien,
yeah.
I can never say it the way it's supposed to be pronounced because I say
Tolkien or Tolkien.
I know. I say it like
Tolkien,
a stupid American.
I'm not an expert on it, but
I say it the way stupid Americans do. So Tolkien, he took the story and out of the Old English variations and he translated it into what it is. So he, in a sense, he still took probably a little bit of liberties with it.
Liberty.
Right. But at the same time, that's what most authors have done with a lot of the true stories that were written for King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Like, it's just how we had to get it interpreted in ways, if it makes any sense.
No, yeah, I didn't know that until because of that A24 screening we watched afterwards. There was that bit with Ralph Ineson, the actor that plays the Green Knight, reading a portion of it. And him when he mentioned Tolkien, I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that.
I didn't realize it was Tolkien that did it, but I assumed that there was an author that obviously did it. And,
right.
I mean, whether or not that's the one I read when I was in college or not the one I have no idea. Like, I read a lot of stuff in college. But yeah, like that's how a lot of the King Arthur tales have gotten told.
Right.
If that makes any sense. Again, very Beowulf.
Right. Anybody got anything else?
I did see a show.
I'm
watching a show.
Go ahead, Michelle.
That dropped on Friday. It's called Nine Perfect Strangers. It's on Hulu. Again, it's a limited series. Starring Nicole Kidman. Melissa McCarthy's in it. What's his name? Kavanaugh.
Gina Hall? Bobby Cannavaro.
That's it. Bobby's in it. And then, God bless me, I can't think of the guy's name. He's a really good actor, and I can't think of him now. He's like a really good, like, character actor, and I can't think of him. He was in Knives Out. Anyways. So,
Zod?
Yeah. Yes. That actor that I can't... horrible.
Yeah.
Michael Shannon.
Shannon.
My God.
There you go.
There we go.
Anyways, so the show.
There we go.
We could do this.
I can do this.
Yeah.
The show.
It's an all-star cast.
It's an all-star cast, is what I'm trying to say. All-star cast doing this limited series on Hulu. Nicole Kidman plays, I guess, a woman that is running a retreat. These characters have all shown up, not knowing each other. Well, except for Michael Shannon, he came with his wife and his daughter, which are probably the only ones that really knew each other. And then there's a married couple that showed up. But otherwise, nobody knows each other, really. So they all show up. And they're supposed to be on this retreat, and they don't really know. You can tell they quickly start figuring out they don't really know what they're getting into, because they're like, oh, well, we don't really know what we're like. It's one of those weird like retreat things that's like cool Hollywood people like, oh, have you heard about this place? Yeah, but we can't talk about it. So it's like they're just going willingly, hoping that what comes out of it is like one was like, oh, I want weight loss. The other person's like, I just want to relax. This other person's like, oh, we want to work on our marriage, or we want to work. Like, everybody's going in for different reasons. But what's really going to happen, and I don't really, obviously, there's only aired the first 3 episodes. There's deeper reasons why they're actually there. And it sounds like Nicole Kidman's character, who's running this retreat, has handpicked them very specifically. And I guess she basically like brings people in, they're there for a week, and then she releases them, and then she picks another group of people to come into this retreat. So I'll say the first 2 episodes are kind of, but I will say I started the 3rd episode, which I have not finished. I'm like just about halfway through the first episode, and it's already kind of like, whoa, okay, things are going to get wicked interesting now. Like, it's definitely picking up. This is all very Agatha Christie-ish in its way. It's very, you bring strangers to an island, let's see what happens. And I don't know if there's going to be a murder or anything, but it is interesting to see how I think it's going to play out as far as the characters. And, like, some of them are kind of volatile towards each other already, like, for really stupid reasons. And because they all have weird things happening with each other, like... I'm not really giving anything away, but it's like the married couple, like, they're on rocky soil here because apparently they lost a child. And then the one married couple, you can tell they just don't work. They should never have gotten married. They're just a couple that got married for whatever reasons, but they definitely shouldn't even be together. They have no interest in each other, clearly. But everybody kind of has weird things, and it's just going to be kind of interesting to unfold. I'm hooked, because I could tell it's going to be really intriguing to see how it all kind of plays out. But even then, like, Nicole Kidman's character has, like, weird stuff kind of happening on the back burner that they're just kind of starting to peel the onion away on that at the end of episode 2 and into episode 3. So, first 3 episodes are out. I would say if you kind of were enjoying White Lotus, I think this actually might be slightly better. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Again, I'm only 2.5 of the 3 episodes in. So I would say check it out. If you guys were checking out White Lotus, check this one out. It's on Hulu.
It seems hard not
David,
to make
have you seen
comparisons. No, I have not seen it.
It is hard not to make comparisons since White Lotus just came out. It's a bunch of people coming to an island.
Right.
But
basically how White Lotus starts.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, White Lotus is based off of a book. I don't know if this is based off of a novel or not. I haven't gotten that far into this, but I'm enjoying it so far.
That's interesting because, like you just said, there's this 9 Perfect Strangers, there is White Lotus, and Old. had people all going to an
That's
island,
true. Yes.
with different stuff going on. And for anyone who's old school will attest, it really kind of sounds like Fantasy Island to a certain degree, with certain aspects, which, by the way, just came out with a new series on Fox, a new updated version of Fantasy Island. So it's like all of a sudden island visitors are the rage. I'm sure like all these places
moral of the story
must be happy.
Moral of the story, don't go to the islands. That's all there is to it. Keep my vacations to the cities.
I mean,
crazy shit happens out there, man. I'm good.
I think what it really is telling of is that, as we all say, Hollywood recycles the same things over and over. Things get regurgitated all the time. There's a circular system to it all. I think we're into another phase of, I feel like in the 70s there was a good phase of like a revival of like kind of like Agatha Christie, like people of interest kind of mystery things. And I feel like this is kind of another revival of that kind of thing. Like we had Knives Out come out like 2 years ago, which is also kind of that way. Like it just kind of seems like we're kind of getting into that kind of a cycle where they're not just copying, old stuff, but they're kind of going, okay, let's get back into this like mystery of people. I mean, they even had an Agatha Christie come out, just before Knives came out, the retelling of the Murder of the Orient Express. I think Hollywood's kind of looking back at things that have worked, and they're going, what can we figure out to make it intriguing for today's audience based on these kind of like certain like parameters that we know clearly works in storytelling. And I think that's kind of what's happening a little bit to a point.
Right.
In my own personal opinion and theories.
And
welcome to my TED Talks.
They're completely screwed on that Death of the Nile movie. That's been done and ready to go.
It has been sitting on the shelf.
Had COVID not happened, it would have come out and it would have done what it did and been fine. Now they can't even do that because one of the people that's in the movie has a prominent role in the movie, and he's in a bit of trouble these days. One Army Hammer. So I don't really know if we'll ever see that movie.
Which is crazy to think that could happen.
Yeah. You can't replace him with Christopher Plummer. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing with that.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. I really wanted to see that. I'm so frustrated because that's my favorite book that she's written. That's my favorite one. I've read a few of them, and that one's definitely my favorite one. And so like for me, I was like, Death on the Nile's coming, and probably not.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's tough. I have issues with.
It's almost like you wish they could just go, look, we'll release it, and we will donate a huge chunk of the proceeds from this movie to like some type of charity or something,
like fund.
Yeah, just to allow people to still see it. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a way to do it and not just bury it.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't think they're going to reshoot it.
It's unfortunate.
It's very, very unfortunate. It's all very. It's very frustrating because I think I don't want to condone or like give my money in that direction, and I don't think it really is. I think for me, it's really giving the money in a way to this story that I have always loved, and I would love to see it. I've seen it done on TV through PBS and the BBC, but I would love to see it done as a full-length feature film, and I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
I don't condone anything that he's doing or he did. I just kind of really wanted to see that Agatha Christie story come alive.
I don't care that he's in it or not.
I don't really care about him. Like, I just want the other. I want the story. Anywho,
without going down a whole rabbit hole.
I digress. My point is, I feel like Hollywood's harkening back to a certain storytelling right now, and I think it works. They're updating it to modern times, but it's working. It's working out really well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Bobby, it sounded like you were going to mention something when I...
Yeah, really briefly, really quickly before we get out of here, I just wanted to mention to everyone that is listening and watching that next week, or remind everyone that next week is CinemaCon. So since we did not have a Comic-Con this year, expect to see, well, hopefully see, a lot of footage and trailers from the studios that will be,
a big
at
weekend.
CinemaCon in Vegas this year. Yeah, and then they all have different days for their presentations, so you should expect to see some stuff leaking out. Sony is first tomorrow, so there's rumors that we will be seeing the Far From Home trailer. There's rumors that we'll see maybe some Morbius stuff or hear about some Morbius stuff and some Venom stuff and maybe even some Uncharted stuff. So the big one might be Sony this year. Marvel Studios is not attending, but pretty much everyone else is.
But with Marvel, I think we already kind of all know
us.
what we're getting into in the next year or two. So
for sure.
That's not.
For sure.
Are we really surprised that Marvel's not going to be there?
Yeah.
Nobody's surprised about that.
But it'll be interesting to see more information for some of the other films that are coming out for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And
I'm really hoping that we get a Spider-Man one.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's the rumor. We might get that tomorrow. And even if they don't show it to us, which sometimes happens, same thing at Comic-Con, we'll see stuff that people don't get to see for a while. Yeah. We'll at least get to hear descriptions or hear first thoughts and stuff like that. So one way or another, I think we'll be getting some Spider-Man Far From Home stuff tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I feel like I'm gonna start getting disconnected here in the next week because we're starting to amp up. David and I are starting to amp up for Dragon Con, so it's like, yeah, we're prepping for the Nerd Fest. So that's happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Costumes, dry cleaning.
So yeah, we'll still be able to do a show next weekend, just not the weekend after.
Yep, Labor Day weekend, no show.
No.
Which is our thing. That's our shtick. So that's not new.
Right.
It's not new at all.
No, that's definitely not new.
It's like the one time Flickr effect is closed. Labor Day weekend.
Like for sure.
Right.
Christmas, totally here, totally fine. Labor Day. No.
I could say something like, "Oh man, it's going to be a different convention. Maybe we'll try to pull off streaming something while we're there." But that's not going to happen. Who are we kidding?
Let's be real.
I'm not even going to attempt that.
Who are we kidding?
No.
Who are we kidding? We're not going to.
Anyway.
I mean, we both put stuff on our social media feeds, I think, when we're there.
Right.
Know? But, like, I don't think, you and I are definitely not going to be like, let's record a little 30-minute session in the hotel room. That's not happening.
Yeah. And I'm going to be volunteering for the first time this year, so I don't even know what my schedule's going to be like.
He will be a convention volunteer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All right. Well, is anybody got anything else? Sounds like we're good. Michelle, there wasn't anything else that you had watched?
There's stuff that I want to see. Like, I want to see Free Guy. I want to see Coda. I really want to watch Coda.
Yeah, I wanted to watch Coda before this episode.
Coda, I think, needs to happen this week. I really want to see that one. I still want to see Stillwater. Like, there's definitely films that I want to see right now, for sure.
I started the first 5 minutes of Annette, but I don't.
Oh, did you?
I didn't. I was too tired to really start it and really get into it. So
you're like, this was a bad decision. I shouldn't have.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm curious about that one. I'm not saying I'm like eager, but I'm curious about that one. Oh, what's that show on Apple Plus that we want to watch?
Oh, the one with the guy and he's in the thing. Yeah, Mr. something. Man,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
That's the name I was trying to think of.
He's in a show on Apple Plus.
Yeah, that guy. He's in a show, and it looks good.
It does look good.
I've heard a good thing about it.
What is it called? It's Mr. Something.
Because he's a school teacher.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, it does look.
Check it out.
Yeah, that one on Apple.
All right.
Anyway. With that, we are going to wrap things up. As always, we'd love to hear back from everyone listening and I guess watching, maybe. If you're watching this, maybe I'm wrong about the audio, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. But even so, there'll still be an audio version of this episode on YouTube. And you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/Flicker Effect. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to be notified whenever we go live or post any other videos in the future. Leave your questions and comments down below. You can reach us on Instagram and Twitter and Twitch at Flicker_Effect. These shows will most likely in the future be continuing to stream on Twitch as well, along with Facebook, facebook.com/Flicker Effect. With that, I'm David Lott.
I'm Mr. Corman. No, just kidding. I'm Bobby Jackson.
There it is.
Thanks.
There it is.
And I'm Jascha Wilson.
And I'm Michelle Hitler.
Thanks for listening and watching.